So response writing is actually a very interesting topic. It's an interesting work actually. So what you'll do is you'll be getting some prompts. Prompts mean some lines which have been extracted from different sources. It can be from any type of source, like it can be a short quotation from different sources, including literary work. So it can be a few lines from a passage, can be from a song, can be from fiction, drama, even it can be from a movie, or even interesting writing. It can be from a speech as well, somebody's speech. They have quoted some interesting lines. Can be from any type of writing as well. Not only fiction, poetry, things like that, but also say an article, and there's some interesting lines there. So a few lines or a short passage will be extracted from different sources, and the idea is that you have to give your response based on those lines. So your response will be what is your idea? What do you think about the lines? So what is the main idea that has been expressed in those lines? You have to write that. What is the main idea? Write a few lines on that. And then you have to expand that idea. You have to provide some logical explanation in your own responses. So basically, it's your own response or your own reaction to those lines, right? So, what do you think? First of all, find out the main idea from those lines, what you think, and then expand that by providing some logical explanation. So basically, there's no, there's no fixed answer to these responses. So the way you see the lines, you may find that the main idea is something different. Your reaction may be different from your friend's reaction. So there is no fixed answer to the responses, but whatever you write, it has to make sense. The explanation must be logical, must be something which is acceptable by the public, right? So you have to write within 250 words. You can write like 4 paragraphs, an introductory paragraph where you provide the main idea that you think is the main idea that has been expressed in those lines. So write that in the first paragraph. And then you've got 2 body paragraphs. In the body paragraphs, you need to expand that idea. So, you need to develop the idea. So ideas contained or implied in the prompts should be developed or extended through explanations or explications. That means you can provide examples. So you develop and extend through some explanation. The explanation must be logical, reliable, or you can also provide some examples as well. So provide your own discussion, your own commentary, and also your own exemplifications based on your background knowledge and experience related to that main idea. So now when you provide an example, that example can be something personal as well that you have faced, you have experienced, but remember that it has to make sense. It has to be connected to that main idea. So you can provide your own example, own experience that you have faced, or it can be someone else's that you have heard or you have seen. It can also be that. So these examples have to be related to that main idea, of course. Okay, so So this is basically what response writing is. It's actually a fun and interesting piece of writing because you get a lot of freedom. As a writer, you get a lot of freedom as to how you want to explain the main idea to those prompts. So, and how you want to address and develop it. But again, as I said, even though you do have the freedom to give your own explanations, you have that flexibility, still you the explanations and how you develop it must be logical, must be reliable, must make sense. It's not that you can write anything that you want. I mean, anything. It can't be something which cannot be accepted. Whatever explanations you give or you provide has to be something acceptable to the general public, has to make sense. So you can take information from other sources in order to develop that main idea, to explain that main idea. And of course, you can give examples in order to develop the main idea that you get from those lines. All right, so basically there are no fixed answers. So that's why the responses are flexible. There are no fixed answers basically, but the responses must be valid, must be reliable. So clear, everyone? I'm going to show you examples. I'll give you as a handout. So remember that the lines or the prompts may be taken from any type of source. It can be literary, can be something more factual. So it can be from poetry, from a song, fiction, drama, non-fiction, prose, such as essays and memoirs. So interesting or unusual facts or statistics which can relate to everyday life. Anything like that, you have to provide your own idea. Okay, let me just give you a sample. Maybe you're familiar with these lines. Okay, who said this, and what do you think is the meaning? Like, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. Are you familiar with these lines?
Forrest Gump.
Right. So it's from the movie Forrest Gump. So what meaning do you get? What is your idea about it?
Well, life's not certain. Yeah, and it's surprising what's coming next. It's gonna surprise you. That's the title.
Yeah. So, that's the main idea from those lines. When you say life is like a box of chocolate, you never know what you're going to get. So he's comparing life. So Forrest Gump is saying that, but his mother used to say that. So you don't know what you're going to get in life. I mean, life is unpredictable. It is full of surprises. So you can't actually predict what's going to happen in your life. Anything could happen. So just like a box of chocolate, he's referring to those like small chocolates, which have like different flavors. And, when you bite into that chocolate, only then you'll be able to know what's the real flavor in that chocolate. Of course, in those boxes, it's written, like some can be like strawberry flavor, mint flavor, can be like a dark chocolate. You get variety of chocolates, those small chocolates. But then you still don't know the real taste unless you bite into the chocolate. So it's kind of a surprise. So life is like that, you don't know what's going to happen in life. There are so many ups and downs in life. Sometimes there are happy times, there are bad times, and things happen suddenly. You can't predict. So that's the main idea of those lines. It's taken from a movie. So basically, that's exactly what you're going to get. Some lines, prompts, which will be extracted from any type of source. So it can be from a movie, can be from a song, can be from poetry, can be from some other fictional or non-fictional work like essays or an article or a speech. anything. And main ideas, first of all, find out the main idea, what you think is the main idea, and then you need to develop that main idea by further discussion and examples. So I'm going to share the screen now. I'm going to show you a sample. Here there are 2 prompts given. 2 of them are 2 different types. And then I will post this sample in the stream section. Okay, can
This
you
response to writing will also be
yes,
taken as a final assessment.
final assessment? Yes, this one. Yeah, this one will be for the final assessment, a quiz for the final assessment, okay?
All right.
Okay. Okay, so can you all see?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so one on the left. So there are 2 samples here. 2 of them are 2 different types. Now the first one, response, you can see, so a little bit of information is given here. This is Steve Jobs used the phrase, "Stay hungry, stay foolish," to conclude his commencement speech at Stanford University in 2005, taking it from a publication called the Whole Earth Catalog. So give your response or reaction to the phrase in 250 words or more. Your response should be clearly organized and unified around 1 or 2 ideas. So you should write within 250 to 300 words actually. So you can see the first one, just 2 lines, stay hungry, stay foolish. So when you just look at these lines, what idea do you get? Remember, okay, so since a little bit of information is already given here, so you can actually try to guess the inner meaning, because this was, he used this in a commencement speech. He uttered these words in a commencement speech at Stanford University in 2005. So basically, it was a part of his speech to students, graduating students. And so to students, he said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." So you get this, background information that this was part of his speech. Speech was addressed to graduating students at Stanford University in 2005. So basically, why would he say this to students? What did he mean? You can at least get the meaning to this prompt. Okay.
Basically, he wanted to say that, I guess, he wanted students to keep searching for new stuff
Mm-hmm.
and act foolish as if that we don't know anything about the world and the upcoming technology, and just keep learning about new stuff. That's, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the main idea. When you say this to students, it's telling them to, be ready to seek for more knowledge. So stay hungry to acquire more knowledge and gain more experiences, and stay foolish, that act as though you're foolish, that you don't know, so that you learn more about life. Because through experiences, you actually do learn more. So you shouldn't assume that you know everything, act as you're overconfident. But staying foolish means no, you have, just say to yourself, because you don't know everything, there's so much more to learn. So keep the doors open to learn new things, to gain more knowledge and more experience about life. Because in this way, you're going to become more matured. You're going to learn a lot of things in life, and that will make you a better person, actually more knowledgeable. So it makes sense when you say stay hungry, stay foolish to graduating students. So they should always be ready to accept new things in life and learn more as through their experiences, or when when they start working, they should always accept new things, challenging things that will come their way, because when you start work, that's a new phase in life. So in this new phase, even though they've acquired their degrees, they've learned a lot of things in university, it doesn't mean that that's the end of acquiring knowledge. They should keep the doors open to learn more, should stay hungry and stay foolish to learn more, um, more about life. So that is the first example. So let's actually go through this. Could anyone read it? If you can see the screen, or maybe I should just post it in the stream section, then you'll be able to see it better. Is that okay?
All right, miss.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, everyone, please check the stream section and open the file. Okay. So I would like someone to read out the first response.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
I would like to read out.
Yes, please. Go through.
The given quote is striking because of its unusual pairing of ideas which don't seem to match each other. The fact that it was spoken at the end of a commencement speech to graduating students who would be starting their careers is also significant. The first part, stay hungry, is not referring to physical hunger but to the need of the new graduates to keep on searching for success in their careers, to look for new knowledge, experiences, etc. The word hungry tells us how basic this drive is for new and better things, which is how it should. Normally, we discourage people from expressing or showing basic appetites, but here it is suggested we should rather value it. But the second part of the quote is more interesting. At first, it seems to be giving us advice which is against our own interests. To be foolish is to be a fool, someone who does unwise or even stupid things, understands little of what's going on around him or her, and is laughed at by everybody. But when you think about it, you realize that every time you take a risk, go beyond what is normal, there is every chance you might fail and end up looking foolish. But unless people take chances on new things and ideas, there would be little or no progress in human civilization. After all, many, if not most innovators in every field have looked foolish at first, but were vindicated at the end. So I think the advice to stay foolish is very appropriate for new graduates, encouraging them to try new things and ideas.
Okay, thank you very much. So you see how the idea has been expanded. So it's a 4 paragraph response. In the first paragraph, talk about the main idea that you understand from the prompt. And then in the second two body paragraphs, just develop the main idea. So if you can explain it in two parts, like in this one, the first body paragraph talks about stay hungry and then develops. And the second part talks about stay foolish, how we should take risk in life in order to gain more knowledge. And then you can see a very short conclusion. So this is how you should write your response writings. Right? So, or if there's just one part to the whole, prompt, in the first body paragraph, explain it, and then the second body paragraph, develop it further by, say, providing an example. So either way. So I don't think you should write more than 4 paragraphs in total. Four paragraphs is enough. Remember that whatever you write, there has to be unity and coherence in your writing. So unity means stick to the main point. Don't include a new idea in the paragraphs. It has to be unified on that one or two ideas that you are explaining, that you understand from the prompt. And coherence means there has to be links between all the sentences and the paragraphs. So in order to make your writing coherent, make sure that you use linking words and proper transition words, so that all the paragraphs are, they're all connected. So when the reader reads, then the reader will see that there's a smooth flow in your writing, and that will make your writing much more effective. Okay, so whatever you write, organize it well. Organization is important, as well as make sure that there is unity and coherence in your writing. Okay, so clear, everyone? All right, so that's the first sample. First sample, just a short phrase was given, and some background information was also given. So based on that, you had to write a response. Now, the background information basically helped in understanding the inner meaning of this prompt. Okay, now the second sample is a very different. You can see the sample is given in this box, and there are actually 2 paragraphs. So it has, this passage has been taken from an article actually, and there are 2 short paragraphs here. So this is much more lengthy. This prompt is much more lengthier than the first one. You can see more information is given here. All right, so let's go through this one. After reading the material below, give your response or reaction to the idea of body language and eye contact in about 250 to 300 words. Your response should be unified around 1 or 2 ideas and should not just summarize or repeat the passage. So be careful here. When you get a prompt like this, which is very lengthy, in the form of paragraphs, make sure that you do not just summarize it or repeat the passage. Now, this is what happens when you get a lengthy one. You may end up just summarizing, but it's not summarizing. You need to develop the main idea. What is the main idea? And then develop it based on your own background information and experience. Okay, so these 2 paragraphs, this passage has been extracted from an article on body language. And in these passages, eye contact has been emphasized. Now, I think that you all have this background understanding about body language and eye contact, and we know that it's very much important in communication. When we communicate with people, when we talk in a everyday basis, or when we deliver a speech, anything, body languages are important. Body languages mean non-verbal cues or gestures like hand gestures, body posture, even your clothes, tone of your voice, eye contact. These are all very important. And eye contact is very important. So when you talk to people, you should make eye contact with the person that you are talking to. Of course, it doesn't mean that staring at that person, but you should make some sort of eye contact while you are communicating. This shows that you are paying attention to what the other person is saying, or there is a direct, uh, more effective communication going on when there is eye contact. So eye contact means that you are paying attention to what is being said, that you are actually listening, you are actively listening to what is being said, also showing respect as well. So eye contact is very important. So this basically is about eye contact. So when you get something descriptive like this, just make sure that you don't summarize or repeat the passage. Okay, so let me just go through it quickly. So first of all, the prompt itself, what does it say here? It says body language or nonverbal cues, which are mostly unconscious or voluntary, play a significant part in communication. In a recent article, Sarah Wilson gave some examples of common postures and movements that are generally accepted to be good indicators of certain emotional states, of which one is excerpted below. So eye contact. Eye contact. Sustained eye contact can make you appear confident and in control of a conversation, whereas averting your gaze can make you appear shy or submissive. Eye movement or likewise staring is also loaded with meaning. Rolling your eyes could be interpreted as the visual form of a sigh, whereas glancing away or downward during a key point in a conversation can make you look dishonest or deceitful. So you can see focus is on eye contact, which is very important in communication. It has a lot of meaning. Okay, so that's the prompt itself. It has given a lot of information, but look at the response, how it has been written. I would like someone else to read it out very quickly.
Yes, I'd like to read.
Yes, go ahead.
Body language is something all of us do without realizing it. Not only do we use body language like gestures and postures ourselves, but we also read others' body language all the time without being aware of it. Eyes are probably the most important part of nonverbal communication. They are the first thing we look at when we meet or interact with someone. If that person looks away quickly or is reluctant to meet our eyes, we know he or she really doesn't want to meet us, though that person might smile or greet us nicely. Friends, of course, look at us directly, but if they look too much, then we know they're worried by something they've seen in us. Perhaps they think we look sick or unhappy. I remember when I first came to the university with so many new people to meet and few friends. I had difficulty meeting people in the eye. I felt shy and unsure, and I guess that showed. This be- this became better once I had made some new friends and got used to the university's way. But I continued to have problems looking at my professors when I talked to them. I don't know where to look, and usually started to look at the teachers and then looked away quickly. Sometimes when he or she was stretching some point. Now I realize the professor must have thought of me as pretty unreliable. I continue to have this problem, but it's better now, with more experience and confidence. Once it's pointed out, it seems so obvious that body language is a very important part of communication.
Okay, thank you very much. So you can see through this response that it's not a summary of the prompt itself. It's not a summary, it doesn't repeat itself. So the first paragraph, it gives some information about body language and what are the different types of body languages. And then um, the body paragraphs, it focuses on eye contact. Now you can see in the first body paragraph, it explains, tells us of what the importance of eye contact, what really it is, how it is meaningful. And then in the second body paragraph, it develops that main idea by giving an example. So the writer himself or herself, gives an example of their own experience, what they faced when they were in university. So you can also give your own example if you think that you can relate it to the main topic or main idea of the prompt. So you can do that, or you can give examples from someone else's example that you have read or you remember. You can also do that in order to expand or develop that main idea. So you can see that, it's also logical, it's valid. The explanation is valid and it's something that is acceptable. It's not something make-believe. So whatever explanations you give, it must be valid. So you do have a lot of freedom to provide your response the way you want to. But just remember that it has to be valid and reliable and, logical, that can be accepted by the general public. Okay, so both the prompts were different, two different types. So which one do you think is easier? First one or the second one?
First one.
First one. Okay, why
First
do you
one, ma'am.
no, the second one? Okay, you
First
made
one.
first one. Okay, why is the first one do you think is better?
I guess no experience is required. You can just think about the topic and write whatever you want.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can say that. First one, it's interesting because you can actually use your own imagination, your own creativity, and provide your own response. Second one, you may think it's easy because sort of some of the information is already there in the prompt itself because it's lengthy, but there is a risk of just giving a summary of the prompt and just repeating what has been written. So the second one has that problem because it's so lengthy. You might just summarize it, but response writing is not writing a summary of it. You have to explain it in your own language based on your background information and knowledge and experience. Okay, so the first one, you do have more freedom because it allows you to use your own imagination and creativity. Of course, any type of explanation is acceptable as long as it sounds valid and logical. Okay, so you have that freedom. There's no fixed answer to this prompts. You have that freedom. Okay, so clear. Now next class on Tuesday, I'll be taking quiz, the final quiz, fourth quiz, and I will be taking on graph interpretation because since I'll be taking this quiz for response writing, I'm going to leave it for the final assessment. All right. So quiz 4 on Tuesday on graph analysis. Okay, so just go back to the handout which I've given you in the last class on data. I think it's a graph. Yeah, it is graph analysis. All right. So I'm going to give you a bar graph and you're going to analyze that. Very simple. So please follow the class discussion on graph analysis and sit for quiz 4 on Tuesday. And I will also talk about their presentation as well on that day. Okay, so I'm going to call out your names now. Kondakar Akhtar Hamid,
Yes, ma'am.
Anik Bishar Joy,
Yes, ma'am.
Marufa Jaman,
Present, Miss.
Lavli Khatun,
Present, Miss.
Fariha Kadir,
Present, Miss.
Ashraful Haq, Jubair Ahmed, Abu Bakr Siddiq,
Zubair Ahmed, Miss.
okay. Abu Bakr Siddiq, Mithila Farjana,
Present, Miss.
Abdul Qayyum,
Present, miss.
Tarnaf Ashraf Jaman,
Present.
Shabab Farooq, Shabab Farooq, Rafi Rizwan,
Yes, miss.
Ibn Sina Bhuya,
Present, ma'am.
Taslima Jahan,
Present, ma'am.
Ali Yusuf Alvi,
Present, ma'am.
Abdul Mohaimin, Abdul Moh-
Present, miss.
yeah, Abdullah Al Masood,
Yes, ma'am.
Ahmed Zubair,
Present, miss.
Jannatul Ferdowsi,
Present, ma'am.
Mugdhamani,
Present, ma'am.
Navid Naim, Navid Naim,
ম্যাম নাভিদ নাম ইজ প্রেজেন্ট চ্যাট বক্সে লিখেছে।
Protasha Mahmood,
ম্যাম প্রত্যাশা মাহমুদ ইজ অলসো প্রেজেন্ট বাট তার মাইক কাজ করছে না।
Vidanul Haq,
Yes, ma'am.
Sharaf Anjum,
Present, ma'am.
Nasib Ali,
Present, ma'am.
Taji Sadi Ahmed,
Present, ma'am.
Darin Anjum Tahia, Darin Anjum Tahia,
Present, ma'am.
Faizan Mohammad Rahman,
Present, ma'am.
Sumaya Shahid, Shamim Ibn Amir,
SMS.
Mohammed Farhan Ahmed,
Present, ma'am.
Maruf Mahmood,
Present, ma'am.
Samrin Alam,
Present, miss.
Saad bin Rahman,
Present, miss.
Tehsina Haq,
প্রেজেন্ট ম্যাম।
Mahai Mira,
Present, ma'am.
Said Amar Mahmood.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, let me just call those who did not respond. Mohammed Ashraful Haq, Abu Bakr Siddiq, Shabab Farooq. Okay, so everyone responded. Okay, so I'll see you again on Tuesday. I think
Ma'am.
it's one. Yes,
আমাদের অ্যাসেসমেন্ট 2টা কবে নেবেন?
assessment to. You want to take it tonight? Is it okay?
Okay, okay.
All right, I'll post it at 8 p.m.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else who has missed assessment 2?
Yes, ma'am. But ma'am, I have another class on today.
Today, what time?
At 7:30, ma'am.
7:30 to 9, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Assessment.
Ma'am, can we take it tomorrow?
What was assessment? So if I post it at 9, is that okay? So 9.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll take it today, okay? So those who have missed assessment 2, I'll post it around 9:15 today. I'll give you a time. Is that okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay, miss.
Okay, thank you. So I'll see you all again on Tuesday.
Miss,
Thank you, then. Have a
Yes.
nice day.
Yes. Yeah.
Miss, I have mailed you regarding my issue. Miss, what should I do now? Can
Yeah,
I submit it today? By
yes,
tonight?
I think I responded to your mail. Can you check? So
Yes,
please,
miss, I have checked those.
yeah, so the question is whether you can do it on time. That's why you have a lot of work to do. That's
Yes,
why.
miss, I can do that, miss.
All right, so please submit them.
Okay, miss. Okay.
First the proposal, then I'll give
Oh,
you feedback and then you can move on to the survey question.
okay, miss. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, so take care.
Take care, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum.
So on.